Read Chenrezig Sadhana, page 1.
Kunde temne jang san la cha jen be paran se du su ne ma nga do ten be ma shan de sem chen nyam mon le je nor wa la se chen chu je tu je pa je la ya so tar be ne sun den du su chen de lu dang wen be re tu Duna na yun ten nyam do da wa yang o ji Gong ne gong de pe war sen je lu Da su nian mong hin je yun nam la Sang gun chi je tu je wu zi ji Le dang nian mo ma re san ne jang Ye xian ha wa je par sen je lu Survan dev sukha ju ten xin Jin ju dao jia san ju zhiba tang Ce dang zhiban ta ru sen ba Ce jia san jin zhiba sen ji lu
Page 1. Namo Guru. In the Dharma sphere, pure like unelaborate space, the Western field delightful, Dhammakaya Amitabha, I supplicate you. Bless me to realize the view, emptiness. In the victor's field, dense with massed clouds of compassion, the Eastern Supreme Sacred Site, Potala, compassionate Bodhisattva, I supplicate you. Bless me to develop love and compassion. In the sphere emanated through pure aspiration, the glorious mountains filled lotus light, precious one of Udiyan, I supplicate you. Bless me to consummate the two purposes. In the naturally pure Kechara realm, in the palace where 100,000 skyfarers have gathered, Soul Mother Tsogyal, at your feet I supplicate. Bless me with ceaseless bliss emptiness. In the supreme sacred site where 100,000 skyfarers have gathered, the secluded place, Dharma Wheel Dechenling, Ratna Lingpa, at your feet I supplicate. Bless me to consummate experience and realization. In the place blessed by the great compassionate one, the palace of past aspirations, karmic fortune, Guru Lodro, the one cared for by Nirmanakaya, I supplicate you, please grant your blessings. In the field emanated to tame through compassion whosoever needs it, in the palace of liberating beings through emptiness and compassion, kind root and lineage gurus, I supplicate you, bless me to consummate the two objectives. In the sky staircase treasure site of Lodrak, true Dharma that is Guya Samaja, profound path that brings about the Vajra body in one life, I supplicate you, bless me to consummate accomplishments. In the supreme sacred site where cities have gathered like clouds, the body mandala of the fully complete four empowerments, Guya Samaja's peaceful and wrathful divine assemblies, I supplicate you, bless that the three kayas be spontaneously present. In the palace of illusory bliss emptiness, the mandala where the four activities are accomplished, skyfarers and hosts of mothers, I supplicate you, bless me to gain mastery over appearances. Among the objects that have destructive activities dynamism, in the palace where unimpeded activities are present, oath-bound command guards, I supplicate you, bless that outer and inner obstacles be pacified. In the victor's field of pure karmic fortune arisen from aspirations, supreme persons who act for the twofold purpose of self and others, spiritual siblings and friends, I supplicate you, bless me to seize the royal seat of accomplishment. You compassionate, loving sources of refuge, having gathered here and now like massed clouds of compassion, please let fall your rain of blessings on us, the children who supplicate you. At this nadir of the teachings, when the five dregs are rampant, sentient ones are tormented by karma and afflictions. Great affectionate ones who have aroused compassion's glory, please guide me and others to the sacred place of release. Having let go of this life, I dwell in isolated mountain regions, never parting from disenchantment and determination. Thus, blessed that qualities, experience, and realization develop ever further like the waxing moon. Having dispelled through the light rays of your compassion the karma, kleshas, and ignorance of myself and others, the afflicted objects of your mercy, loving guardians, bless us with unfolding wisdom appearances. We supplicate you, kind command lineage holders, bless that your followers, we, sadakas of enlightenment, take lifespan and accomplishment to their limit and attain the Buddha state in one life. Upon a lotus flower, sun and moon at one's crown, one should imagine the three roots, divine assemblies, and every jewel that is a source of refuge. With respectful three doors, wayfaring beings with one's parents acting as their leaders should utter these words. Namo sentient wayfarers and myself, with respectful three doors take refuge in the Guru, Yidam, and three jewels, with the victors oceanic hosts. Namo sentient wayfarers and myself, with respectful three doors take refuge in the Guru, Yidam, and three jewels, with the victors oceanic hosts. Homage to the deity, innate awareness. I offer unhalting innate clarity and disclose and let go of the four limits downfalls. In the three times sameness, I rejoice. I exhort you to empty samsara from its depth and to remain in primordial purity's naked transparency. I dedicate everything to realize innate awareness. May the fully complete three kayas be attained. Homage to the deity, innate awareness. I offer unhalting innate clarity and disclose and let go of the four limits downfalls. In the three times sameness, I rejoice. I exhort you to empty samsara from its depth and to remain in primordial purity's naked transparency. I dedicate everything to realize innate awareness. May the fully complete three kayas be attained. Alas, for me to release all transient ones by emptying samsara into the great compassionate one's mandala. I'll rouse mine therefore immeasurable Birds, alas, for me to release all transient ones by emptying samsara into the great compassion that one's mandala. I'll rouse mind therefore immeasurable. Middle of 12. From the state of emptiness without reference point is a sphere of 5 colored lights in the center of a palace. Therein, on a seat of lotus, sun, and moon, is innate awareness, a red Shri syllable. Radiating outward, its light has made pleasing offerings to the victors and has refined away all sentient ones' wrongs and obscurations. As it is gathered back, accomplishments merge into me. I imagine samsara has been emptied from its depths. Through the transformation of the Shri, I become the form of Guya Samaja, red with 1 face and 2 arms. The right hand holds a lotus garland at the heart. The left bears a live vase with a lotus stalk. I am adorned with unfathomable messed ornaments, precious jewels, lotus garlands, bone ornaments, and silk tassels. Supreme Mother Guya holds in her right hand an utpala and in her left a nectar vase. At one with the Father, she embraces his neck. With the 6 ornaments and lotus garlands, she is naked and beautiful. Her 2 legs clasp the Father's waist. Thus should one cultivate pristine, non-dual unity. I imagine a radiant red Shri syllable on a moon disk seat at my heart, with the 6 syllables revolving round its edge. Light radiates therefrom, inviting the intrinsic wisdom beings who merge into me.
行啊也往格桑，大念头所是也来，无知门的将你问住，身见困界得两头结前不缺，全都故松头结就。三拉我知道了天，但咱头手是引导，一周用的苦伤。
I imagine that from the blessings of body, speech, and mind, the five wisdoms empowerment has been conferred. From the life force, the letter Shri at my heart, light rays have streamed forth, offering to the victors and refining away all sentient ones' wrongs and obscurations. Thus, all have transformed into the great compassionate one. As the light rays have gathered back, the quintessence, blessings, and cities of body, speech, and mind merge into me. I imagine the 6 syllables arranged anti-clockwise around the life force, the heart letter Shri, which is concentration.
So then now we will go through some questions and answers with Drupon Tsering Rinpoche and Tambo Bukela.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll read the question first in Tibetan. Tambo de ngak ringbo ngak gepa ki tunda karires. Ani di tang nisu mepa gawa tang dewa tang gawa shi tang drawa yorbes.
Got it.
Ngak gepa ngak ringbo tang nisu mepa gawa tang dewa tang gawa shi tang drawa yorbes. So dene injigela. So the first question is, could you please explain the meaning of the long mantra, especially in the context of non-dual joy and bliss, and how does it relate to the four joys?
Tambo de ngak tunda karere la riwa.
Tambo
Ngak ringbo.
ngak tunda karere.
Okay. Oh, yanjer chudo nambala. Sam dita hidelex hyoyadang ni chizo. De sembala tuji ches hyoyayen.
The Sula Tuchiche?
Tambo chudo samala gomo kan sam dita hidelex. Ni chiram to nge tara gachiteni ala tuji ches. Like somewhere. Okay.
So to all the Dharma friends, Tashi Delay, and thank you for having me to give some Dharma talk.
Ha rimbote tambo om mane pe me hong ri siate katan ri yusimbai manen droto jam doris do jam do ta ha jam do ri siate ni Chenrezig tuso sinani opa me ke tuso sound ri Chenrezig rigda to opa me res tani arapacha siate jambaya Mita Rindaya Seatita Sanje Opa Milakona Chondos Teminati Karasi Chenrezig Drupchen Tamdring Hayangawa O Telekona Chondos Mita Rindaya Soha Seat Yatsuks.
So Mita Zana Upakme? Mita? Arapatsa.
Mita Rindaya Sindoa.
Mita Rindaya
Nyampola Sena. She said Opa make a sign. That is to Mita Daya said the part of Tigdubzoya. Then the Tishite Opa made a conan Drendo. The Nitrana the Chenrezig Drupchen, Shivala Chenrezig Drupchen, the Tamdring. Oh, Tamdring the conan Drendos. Then the thing so hard, see at the Yatsuk.
She took.
Tambo de Laviana Mount Sarve.
Oh, Digadu, Kanong Sungna.
Then Om Hong so ha, see at Java Yapna. Then Mam Lam Mampam Tam, see at Yumna. Yap nga te pumbo nga ta song de la jarwa nga la ore. Teni yuwa nga ta song ya te la yum nga la re. Dik sawon re. Teni sarwa siya te tamji tatanga ta si te debjin shipa tamji ek. Maha penza si tu chimbo nga. Om ayur si tu tse. Jana Siddhi Yeshi Maha Sina Chimbora Punye Sina Sunam Tita Om Siddhi Tse Dang Yeshi Sunam Chimbo O Teso Tita Om Siddha Sosolate Zaroji.
So Punya Punye Yanga?
Sonam.
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 Anitista.
Tita sidite Tang Yehi Sonam Chembo Tsama. Teni Pepio Zarochi Zol.
So, okay.
Tita Hens Yuxol Singasozalatma. Yurochi Tita.
So then for the first part of the question, on explaining the meaning of the long mantra, as Drupon explained before, Om Mani Padme Hum, we can think of as the refuge sources of Sutra, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, together with the refuge sources of secret mantra, the Lama, Yidam, and Dakini. That's one way of thinking of it. These 6 syllables Drupon explained in some detail. The 3 syllable, again, can be thought of as the 3 syllable of Chenrezig. Also, it is the 3 syllable, the life force syllable of the Buddha Amitabha. That is the Lord of the family, the source from where Chenrezig emanates. And so then the next syllables, the A, Ra, Pa, Tsa, that represents Manjushri. And so this is invoking Manjushri. And then we have Mita, Hridaya, Soha. And so then those syllables can be thought of as invoking Amitabha, or they can also be thought of as invoking the wrathful form of Chenrezig, that is Hayagriva. So Hayagriva, the one with the horse neck, or the horse head, that is the wrathful form of Chenrezig. So Hayagriva, Tamdrin in Tibetan. And then there are these 5 syllables, Om, Ah, Hum, So, Ha, or Svaha. And those 5 syllables represent the 5 fathers, or the 5 male Buddhas. And then the Mum, Lam, Mam, Pam, and Tam represent the 5 mothers, or the 5 female Buddhas. And so the 5 male Buddhas represent the purity of the 5 aggregates, and the 5 female Buddhas represent the purity of the 5 elements. And so then Sarva Tathagata, that refers to all of the Tathagatas, all the enlightened ones, the Buddhas. Mahapansa, Om, this is the great 5. So it's the great 5 of all the Tathagatas. And then Ayur Jana, so Ayur is longevity or long life. Jana is wisdom. And then Maha is great, and Punye is merit. And then Tishta Om is please, come to us, please be seated and dwell within us.
Okay.
Dari apa?
Yeah.
Dene nik nipa kicha de nisu mepa ki dewa tang gawa shi tang drawa yorbes.
Karela.
De ngak rimbo.
Nismi Dewa. Nga Tsama Nismi Dewa than Reva Yore. There are many payme Chipola Nismi Dewa, Tam Ningi Chimbo. Dang Shirap Tongbani Tapshi, Detong Sartong. What they Yonsu Zobate, did think how Tsama than Reva Yore. Nismi be Hitoyak Tap River.
So, in terms of the context of non-dual joy and bliss, then all the deities embody non-dual joy and bliss. There is the deities are the embodiment of compassion and emptiness, or we can say the embodiment of the union, the inseparable union of skillful means and wisdom. We can also say they are the embodiment of the union of non-dual bliss and emptiness. And so this is all the enlightened deities embody this. Dine driwa nipa.
Sumba.
Tinguni de shoki angdran la driwa nipa.
Okay.
Could you the Guru Rinpoche ki termala Chin Lap Nupe Shen Nang Jur. The Tarni La Yi Chin Lap Gom Chin Lap Nupe Shen Nang Jur. Dik Tik Chin Lap Nupe Shen Nang Jur De Karade. So then the question is, could you please explain this phrase? You will be able to transform the appearances of others. So this occurs in Padmasambhava's instructions on approach and accomplishment that Garchen wanted people to read. And it says, through the power of blessings, you will be able to transform the appearance of others. So that's the second to the last line.
This morning, Rinpoche explained very clear. You understand?
Pachi dikitsik la let mo sonde.
Yeah, senap nupe sin siat nupar. Sin jin lap tsik korantin jin siat nupa. Lai kusong to ke yonti shirap tang tani sancho san. Yimang gyur senap jin nupa te ke tani pa nyumong ishi la gyur siya. Tani taga na yin ke ta sanghan do na tara duci nga te tsama te zoba te zangma la gyur ya o te la jin lap sir sin siya nupa lap siya te so gyur gyur ya.
Ani shen ki nangwa gyurya ki kola de karare.
Then this song, Kimpo Jimmy Ponsok, Ranang Wang Dun Duna, Yinang Wang Dun Doyongs, Rankan Nawa the Wang the Du Top Sona, Yinkan Nawa the Jor to Gures, Penna Melare pa Himalaya Regangla, Tani Kong Sanji Kompang Tobundu, Tena Nepeg this Rida Semji Tara Jinzi Yoruba. Oh, the so que semji yin tsewa yore te melare pe kong nupa teke te zo tsama gyon chi tang shawa dropo chaya ta. Teni jango tang semji ra lo te so na, teni nupa me zibat pe dropo na ki cha. O tenda res. Rang nawa to wang to gyor so na yin tama gyon. Nga so rang nawa ta keche chi la semde de togo mare, rawang yo mare. Teni yin do nyumong wang to shon ro hore.
So then, in terms of the first part of this, so the question is, could you please, again, could you please explain this phrase, you will be able to transform the appearances of others, and it starts, through the power of blessings, you will be able to transform the appearances of others. And so in terms of the blessings part, the power of blessings, Garchen Rinpoche this morning talked about the power of blessings being the realization of the enlightened body, speech, and mind that occurs when we are able to transform our afflictive emotions into primordial wisdom. And so when we have the blessings of enlightened body, speech, and mind, then we can do all kinds of things. in the tradition of secret mantra, for example, we have the 5 ingredients of Amrita nectar. And so normally these ingredients are filthy bodily substances and so forth. However, through the power of realization, then they are transformed into primordial wisdom nectar, into the pure nectar. And so the master Khenpo Jigme Phuntsok taught that when we have been able to tame our own appearances or our own experiences, then we can transform the appearances or the experiences of others. And so when Milarepa became a Buddha in the mountains, in mountain retreat, then he was able to reconcile the innate opposition that different animals, like peaceful animals and beasts, had. For example, there are stories of where through Milarepa's singing and meditation power, then a hunting dog and a deer, they became, instead of the hunting dog was chasing the deer, but then Milarepa, through his realization, taught them, and they became good friends. And the deer wasn't afraid of the dog, and the dog didn't try to eat the deer in that way. And then also there were wild sheep and like wild rams and so forth, and different animals that all became friends due to the power of Milarepa's realization. So for ourselves, though, without being able to really meditate that long, without losing our minds to afflictive emotions, it is difficult to, if we don't transform and tame our own minds, then we can't transform the experiences and appearances of others.
Teni yin chik zhe xu na, tara sangha la, nyumong yishi la jur, ma zangwa la jur, teni dungha dewa la jur siya yore. Te enti kare risi na ngune nyamni sinkin te so na, dungha dewa la jur si na, konso na jipon dosi, nga so namjiyo na cha de dungha rewa, kale rewa, ina konso na jipon dosi, na te nawe ga si nga na de pe gawon dosi, te sacha ki lama chik song yore. Kanyi si na, jiwa homa ke le me gewa sa yale te, pa se ndo dosi, na te nawe ga, nga sa che le ngin ze wa yin. Nga so chu nyamni siya te, sindu ya te ke, teni dripa ni nyumu dripa ta hibzi dripa pa yongo yore si, te ta don song zi re si, te endu dungha dewa la jona ga yin zho yin te tang to len to hore. Teni daga na yin ke marza ke tok sa la ra, namjiyo tok se ya te zoba re, te sa na tsama she ya re, ina ya jia marza la koda ten nuba yo te, me she ya ma tse, lu ke tram dan zi ji tama, shar neng cha hore. Te endu ngune sangha nyani top na, tara sha nga, duzi nga se ya te, zoba re te, doyon tamba ngola, tsama dan zoba se ya te, yo ma re se, ne kap so so ke, ninji nga lo te ke te sam no tang ya te. Ina te dondan la me tsa te, zoba te tsang ma re se. Tara Rinpoche ke pe le yin do cho te, cho koran tsang ma re se, ne kap lo war jing ke, zoba cha se, yang cha tsang ma so ya re. Don tamba ngo ka la te yo ma re se.
So in the tradition of secret mantra, it is taught that we can learn to transform afflictive emotions into primordial wisdom. We can transform that which is impure substances into pure substances. Suffering can be transformed into bliss. And so it is said that for great practitioners, that when they experience even sickness and illness, that it can be pleasant. There is this phrase for great yogins, oh, if I'm sick, I like it. There was this Sakya Lama that taught in this context, that taught this, oh, I enjoy being sick. This brings me happiness, because through that sickness, then his non-virtuous deeds of previous lifetimes were exhausted. And so when we practice the Dharma, then we are able to purify our obscurations of afflictive emotions and also our obscurations to knowledge. And so we can transform these normally difficult situations into their pure nature. And so there is the peacock, the peacock bird. It is said that the peacock can transform poison. Normally, if we have poison, you shouldn't eat it. It can harm everyone. However, peacocks can take poison and they can transform it into the power of the beauty of their feathers. And so according to kind of this story, peacocks take poison and eat that, and then it becomes the beautiful colors of all their feathers. And so in the same way, in the secret mantra tradition, the 5 meats of dead animals that are normally not eaten, the 5 impure substances of the body that make up the 5 nectars, when dualistic grasping towards these and afflictive emotions is cleared away, then that which is impure becomes pure. And so Garchen Rinpoche taught earlier about how ultimately our minds, the nature of our minds, is like pure water, and temporarily it becomes muddied and cloudy and obscured, but that is only a temporary obscuration. When afflictive emotions and discursive thoughts are free from it, then it is pure.
Tenichi nama chingo ya la tara pumpa kangola. Pumpa kagana ti pikok do yodo marja kado. Ha go yawa. O te tunda te res. Nimong yishi la jor jinlap pumpa ke jinlap se tamat pumpa ke se yor. Nimong yishi la jor dongha deva la jor mazangwa la zangwa zo. Sunzi te tega tanda res te ma dot pumpa gana nyengyo tanda zo yo mare se jumching or sanga la da ten da tor song so. Teni tarati Guru Rinpoche long the Sumba the Sani Rinpoche ke paje songo jori terenga te mambo tikera lawya me
Sanje Yeshe?
Sani.
Oh.
Tomorrow.
Oh,
Rinpoche chia. Tereng ni the song song katsang jik tereng jik Sani Sumba te jinap ni pe yinang yurus. Tan la snap gom sia te Sani sunggeres. Te tenga mambo lamna nima chan du cheme panna pento yo mares. Sun shining, then candle, light, no necessary, nothing. Okay?
So, then on the vases of nectar and so forth for empowerments and activities that we use in secret mantra, there are peacock feathers on the vases. And the meaning of that is the transformation, just like the peacock transforms poison into its beautiful colors, then this represents the transformation of afflictive emotions into primordial wisdom. It represents the transformation of suffering into bliss. And so the peacock feathers on the vase, we shouldn't think that they're there just to make the vase look pretty. Again, there is this saying, the symbol is given, and then through the symbol, one is liberated. And so the symbol of the peacock's feathers represent the transformation of secret mantra. And so then Garchen Rinpoche has gone through the first couple sections of these Pamasambhava instructions. And so there is a third section that Garchen Rinpoche may teach on tomorrow. And so Drupon says that when the sunlight is going to shine, there is no point to have a small little candle flame. So he says, you don't need my candle flame if Garchen Rinpoche's sun is shining.
Tomorrow, sun shining.
So then the third question, Chenrezig the Sigding Jurgian, Pachit Diskensa. The Karyana shall troll Rimpa Sum Yore, Karyana, Karyana Melong Yore, Karyana Do Nakbore, Dinso ki Chaksen Tseni Karires. Troll ki shall Rimpa Sum Melong Tang Do Nakbo. Pachi Gyalu ki Chenrezig the Injigelang Lapkian Jiva. So the third question is for Avalokiteshvara. Why are there 3 rows of wrathful faces, the mirror, and the black stone? What do these attributes symbolize?
Te Jalotugi Chimbo Korana Nepsar Bondoa. Jesoti Yabo Tunda de Lona. Chukusheve Sharsum Trovo. Lonkusheve Sharsum the Nihamato. Chuku Sharsum Seate. Chuku Lonko Chukusum with the Shartet and the Rindos. The Dado the Seate Tama Korana and Sarbo Ondo. The Yanjan Jagusamani. Chuku Lonko Chuku Tisum the Shart. Jimsin there is.
So essentially, if you look at the sadhana of the royal tradition, then it says clearly that each of these rows of 3 faces symbolize the 3 kayas. So there are the row of the Dharmakaya faces, the row of the Sambhogakaya faces, and the row of the Nirmanakaya faces. That is in the sadhana. And so beyond that, maybe more commentary doesn't need to be said, Drupon says.
Yeah, Shwadip Jibyanando, 14th.
So page 14, it's on there.
The symbol Sama, and so the Hejan, Laptoya, you matin Sama, reading the Dua. Shwadip Jibyan, Sirochis.
So you can see that. Melong Tang Donakpo.
Sama Tina.
So ultimately, all the symbols there's commentary if you read the sadhana closely. Drupon says.
14, 15, okay.
So
page number.
Page 14 and 15.
Yeah.
So then the 5th question. Mixar ki tutsula Chenrezig Nyamache Gograbes. Yangna Kabayena Kaduyena Nyamache Chograbes.
Kada.
Then Injigela?
Yeah, okay.
So then the 5th question is there any specific time to practice the Chenrezig sadhana, or is it permitted to do it anytime and anywhere?
Simo Chenrezig Nyamne Venania Bokure. Chadang Lega Yomananto. Simolandan, the Shoga Nyamni Sena, the Yankan, that Chenrezig Hingi Karamzora. Yankan Soso Shivata, Hingiuna, Devota Chibo Yore. Chatan Tsula, if I must also Kadu and a race.
So Drupon says, if you practice Chenrezig at night, it's really nice for sleep because you're overcoming all your attachment and aversion, and so you're just going to have wonderful, peaceful sleep. And he's kind of joking, he says. But it also might be partly true.
Okay.
And then you might think too, well, if you practice it in the morning, then this will set your day off to have a really peaceful day, because Chenrezig is so compassionate. And on one hand, Drupon says he is joking, but then also at the same time, since Chenrezig embodies peace and compassion, then whenever you practice that, then it is good and beneficial. Dene Drua Drukpa. Not so Chenrezig ki mikran cheki kapla. Dene Chupa Shamsa ki de Dunna Gogurbes. So then the question is, should we be visualizing Chenrezig on the altar set up in front of the shrine? Pache dela de pache dela lakang dinala.
Lakang dinari sosunang kawasena chitang chuba shamsate dam dun kaptular datam dun kaptun tikse le tambo pakapsa le lawa tap deva yorwa migram siya dan chuba puya kari tholana nderi tin dangone ke dan Rinpoche na yena na chepa kaya yo mare kawana ko kare nawa la nu jinjik tin yare kan juji semji la dan lamo datam din la ran darisen tela yare kan senang de yo mare reina le tambo kapsa dam dun katun dena tik stap dia tan le la de yugres jablo lan chupa che yom genetics thong mo do thang ka tan chupa dan kunda so jablo la shrunk behind to you not so easy beginning. But similar Rinpoche anywhere yare kan senang yo mare.
So for ourselves, we have the style of visualization of ourselves as the samaya or commitment being that we visualize, and then in front of us we have the front visualization and generation. And we can do the stages of visualization and make offerings to the visualized deity in front of us that we associate with the shrine and so forth. So we can have this easier time when we set things up to make offerings in front of us and have a shrine laid out and so forth. However, for someone of Garchen Rinpoche's realization, there's no difference. All appearances, the entire universe, is the immeasurable palace of the deity, and all the sentient beings within the universe appear to Rinpoche as male and female deities without exception. And so when you have this type of realization, there's no thing in front that is different than the things behind us. However, as beginners, then if we do our practice and we have all the tankas and the pictures of the deities behind our back and we have our shrine set up behind us, it might be harder to do the visualizations and we might have confusion.
Right? Huh? Is it right? Easy? Behind or phone? Okay.
So then the seventh question.
Ngoma nga so Germany ni lama ti pepson. Ha ko so ko hondo we.
Germany lama chick
Pepson lama ti pepson pu ni. Pe ni. One lama come from Tibet. Yeah. Directly Tibet. Tanga so Germany ni really Menkor. Menkor hakoso. Menkor na desa kake teni chor kajira kake menkor teni rora. Hakoso. Kupja kake teni chor de kake pa de hakoso. Di mangbo ro chana kale mdwa. Hong to de bu ni da xiong ra. Da sen chu kar xiong na yin do. Nam ji da ngo la pa nga son ro ra. Da re la teni pa ro ro teni chor ka lo de tik se uncomfortable. Da sen chu kar xiong. De jab lo nan de chue ba de na de le tang bo ka se ka nga yong sa le. Ni re la na mangbo ro chana kale mdwa.
So, Drupon says that in Germany, they had this the Lama. So this Tibetan Lama came directly, who was invited to Germany from Tibet. And so in Germany, people ride trains quite a bit. And these trains have seats, and some of the seats face forward towards the front of the train in the direction that the train is going. And then some of the seats face those seats. So these other seats face the back of the train, even though the train is moving forwards. And so this Tibetan Lama, who was fresh from Tibet, he had only experienced riding horses where you go forwards. And so you always face forwards when you're riding the horse in general. And so it was extremely awkward and difficult for this Tibetan Lama to be riding if he sat in the seats that faced backwards, because he was being pulled backwards, and it was a very awkward sensation. And so for ourselves, if we put the shrine behind us, then it can feel very awkward to be making offerings behind us. But then Drupon says, once you've lived in Germany for a while and ridden on the trains, then it becomes very natural. And so maybe eventually, if we practice, then it won't feel so strange.
Right? You're no problem, yes. Okay.
So then, the 8th question. Dene ngaso Shenpen ki legache ki kapla. De ngaso Changchuk ki sem tang chak shen ki yewa kandres chego gre. Oh, and so then the 8th question in English is, how can I distinguish between bodhicitta and attachment when working hard to benefit others?
Te le laures. Na to chama ni ni ora. Na to namju na namshi is. Dan cha la yi shi, xian cha la nam shi la. Jig sem jig dan cha de yi shi, xian cha de nam shi. Consciousness, wisdom, one mind. You understand? Nam shi, ye shi. Hakoso. Ni pa de la danzi yin pens. Kuni ka rin wa. Jig de danzi nga sam no to. Jig de yin sam no to. Kuni ka rin wa. Nam shi, ye shi, danzi yin pens. Then labat the jan cho sem seate. Garet lahosin danzi jang. Danzi chama mi pat. Yimpin the chup. This hem the go res. What the thing koni pe doksore.
So this is really easy to distinguish between bodhicitta and attachment. They are two different things. When we have attachment, then we have ordinary consciousness, mundane consciousness. When we have bodhicitta, we have primordial wisdom. And so these are different, quite different. And so then also, we could say when we have attachment and clinging, we have selfishness, self-clinging, self-grasping. And when we have bodhicitta, we have this wish to benefit others. And so the term bodhicitta in Tibetan is changchuk kisem. So the first syllable, chang, means to purify. And so what do we purify? We purify self-clinging. And then this second syllable is called chup, and it means to kind of fill up. And we are filled up with the wanting to benefit others. So we purify self-clinging and we are filled with wanting to benefit others. And so compared to ordinary self-clinging, selfishness, and attachment, it is the exact opposite.
Right? It's different. In the way. Okay.
So then, the ninth question. Samsamla nga chukikola nang chukikola tetsom yu. Nga hako ala di pento yomares. Yiniyang tetsom keki kabla. Dene nga kandris de kandris nyamsu lengo gre. Nga kandris de lamdu longo gre. So, so the ninth question is, sometimes I still experience doubt about Dharma. I know this is not beneficial, but when these doubts arise, how should I work with them and transform them on the path?
Dindiri re dos cha dangs te chom kunzo sama jikpares rakpatang chawa connect. That topa te chom gare inate sargo yores. Topa te chom sar. Jawa tang. Then the garitona hamo topa te chom dokser senna junsik desidara chunyamsu limbekapsu de yore. Panwar sawa tang lamar chawa sine. Panwar sawa pang stop lang chalen. Panang de inditin dokser senna junsik dress topa te chom gare yonate lama gewe hini jawa tang pasar gore. Te masanna teni di sem te chom da di gare on go dela. Sem te yichi daranga zo wangdang chi da chamala loju den dongo doa history. Then the loju jupe dangwan rings. Sem ge dangwan ri. Yongdin tong de ba jes. Teni yongdin de tong de ba ji. De ba de jin yichi le. Yichi le na sanap den yok to go yores. Then the doba te chom to sar go le. Doba te chom de ge teni sawa tong dan drop to go mares.
So, when we have doubt, it's really about related to dualistic experience. And we have these dichotomies of hope and fear, or expectation and of what we want and fear of what we don't want. We have attachment and aversion. We have a dualistic experience of gross things and subtle things. And we can get caught up in this dichotomy of not understanding if something is one thing or another, what can be called doubt. And so this term for doubt in Tibetan, when you have doubt, what needs to happen is that it needs to be cleared away. When we have this hesitation mind that can't decide on one thing, we need to clear that away. And so we should seek to gain clarity from our spiritual teachers and lamas and so forth to remove that doubt, that hesitation. And so we know then what to adopt and what to discard. And if we don't clear away our doubts, then this will obstruct our practice and accomplishment. And so what we need, instead of doubt, the opposite of doubt really, is confidence, trusting faith and confidence. And so when we are given the empowerments and transmissions and instructions, there are stories and histories of where those came from and the qualities of those teachings. And when we learn about the stories of where they come from and the qualities and so forth, then we can have pure perspective, pure perception of those teachings and practices and so forth. And when we have pure perspective, pure perception of these, then the blessings of the practice we can receive, and we can also accomplish the practice. As long as we have doubt, though, this prevents us from reaching that.
Retreat master. Teni pecha jang te so nan kimpo tan ge hi se ya ten de sama ti topa ta te chom sa ya chi la ba da sanje ke chupong je te yedong song da le te sama nyu mo ba re do te chom cha dang te sa che te res.
So not only are doubts and hesitation something that we experience in the context of Dharma practice, but it is something that we experience throughout the world. And if we have doubt and hesitation about our understanding of things, then in the world, then we can seek clarification from a teacher or like a professor, that type of thing, who can help us learn how things are on the worldly level. When we are meditating and we have doubts and hesitation about our meditation, then we can learn from someone with experience like a retreat master, a Drupon. When we have doubts about a Dharma teaching and a text, then we can refer to a Kempo or a Geshe who can explain the meaning of those subtle words. And so ultimately, the 84,000 different types of Dharma teachings that the Buddha taught are all there to remove doubts and hesitation and clear away all of our afflictive emotions. Dene Drua Chupa Natso ke Sempa Nangna Trakto Nyumong Trato Junche Mepa Yuna Dene Natso O di Nyumong Re Moshe na di Yapo Mare di Jesu Drodume Deke Jema Dene Naso Deke Jela Kandres Nyamache Kogres. So the 10th question is, when jealousy continuously arises in the mind, even after we recognize it as a negative emotion and do not wish to follow it, how should we practice with it?
Tate chowa chama la yore nga sanma da nga nyima yongsu zopa la yina dun nga la yina je yore Te entity nalo nini, teni chado, new mumba dun nipola, teni yina dun the song. Then the chado can nipotela, jisa yerang the gongore. Chado la chado the munzin top server jisa, teni yinka geva caresena, ying the gava jisa yerang na, still jisa yerang, tony yamni seata. Cha to seat, new mumba dun nalo ni. Yinlan no ba hira dom mutapa. So lan the ganger don't have chimbo drinking the chadores. Kaisina, Mechigla, Naban Zibo Yona Chu, Chadola makes them the Churan Dukyori, Kalasana Troayoma, Yanani Kumare, Paloke Paropo, Naban Zibo the Meba Chaumar, Chakayomarwa. Or Chigla Moda Zibo, then Churami Lot and Churamic Galatea Mato, Pagamoda Zibo the Meba Chaumare, Churan Shiun Chimboyora. Not Hadolan, Dogyonri, Churan Hiu, Miba Chaumare. So Solana, Maji Pazoi. Jin and Gangar Hida Tim Matupa. Shedang Lana, Trupaja, Sugarwa. Then, Dochalan, Legandamara Segirwa. Nika, Tado de Soso Tanga Chimbo. Jin and Shida, no Matupa. Then it Lapat. Sonam Ze and Royak, Ju, Dukut, Tado is. Chado the pang the Jisayam gom yana ma nyat san and Jibos and yan. Nyari getting Jixina, Jisayaran and gongus. Ma nyandon, give a chimbo sagona, Jisayaran gongores. Jina Pamjurna, Lobjan, Namba and Karedana, Jiva Homa Sonam Sa, Chutam Song, Jimbatanik and Deverindo, Kotata Yaporindo, Maomba Yapo, Tira Ya, Onsho, Samyana. Di sonam the soso top gores. Kalega and Yamagoli, sonam timbosato. Then sonam timbosatum, sonam dembe may some doon drops. Sonam yutana, parchika yoma, some doon drogora. Then sonam zenta mediota, Sanje compound top satus, sonam and zenta yomaris, taran zamba la yangun and doa. Sanje compound mata pardalian, sonam te will de na chado dan shedan da new mobake, de zendo yores.
So, the 10th question is, when jealousy continuously arises in the mind, even after we recognize it as a negative emotion and do not wish to follow it, how should we practice with it? So, in almost all the detailed sadhanas of the new translation tradition and also the Sarma, and then also the old translation tradition, the Nyingma, then there are what are known as the 7 branches of offering or prayer. And in these, sometimes it is also the 8 branches. And so in these 7 or 8 branches, these are antidotes to the 7 or 8 afflictive emotions. And so the antidote specifically to jealousy in this context is the branch known as rejoicing, or having selfless joy, or taking joy in the happiness of others. And so once we recognize jealousy, if we don't give it up, we should understand that jealousy itself doesn't harm others, but it really brings a lot of difficulty and suffering to ourselves. For example, if you see someone else and you think, oh, that person is very pretty and very handsome, and you get really jealous about it, and have this strong jealous feeling of competitiveness, then that person who is pretty or handsome that you think about, they aren't harmed at all. But then we suffer because we are upset that we are not pretty or handsome. And for example, if we see someone eating wonderful food and we get jealous of that food that they're eating, then it doesn't alleviate our hunger. We just get more frustrated. If we see somebody driving a really nice car and we get really jealous and upset that we don't have that car, thinking about it doesn't harm the person in the car. It doesn't harm the car, but it just makes us frustrated. The same goes for when we become jealous of the learning and qualities in others, then we don't get those qualities. It just makes us more, upset and causes us suffering and difficulty. And so when we get angry, for example, then this leads to fights. When we have desire, then this can lead to all sorts of activities. However, when we get jealous, we don't harm anyone else. It doesn't give us stronger power to, harm others really, but it brings us a lot of suffering. And so overall, even above all that, what jealousy does is it is one of the main ways that we exhaust all our merit, and we lose all our merit and accumulated virtue. On the other hand, if we can abandon jealousy, recognizing this, then we abandon jealousy through rejoicing in the merits of others and the happiness of others and so forth, then this becomes one of the easiest ways to accumulate merit. If we see somebody and we think, wow, they have studied so much and they know so much, this is so wonderful, then we attain merit from that. If we see somebody with great discipline and we think, oh, this is so incredible, they have such incredible discipline, then we attain merit from that. And so it is this very easy way, if you want to just relax and accumulate a lot of merit, then just sit back and rejoice in all the wonderful things that are happening, that people have, and so forth. And so when we have merit in this way, then we can accomplish anything that we wish for. We have the energy of Zambala, the deity Zambala themselves, and this clears away all obstacles.
Okay. Yeah.
Then the kusum ki yewa ki chepar kareres. So the 11th question is, what's the difference between the three kayas?
Yatang kusum te chunam tamti kusum ramjin la situ konde ke chutsama kusum ni junghore kusum na dunro durum kakhela pan dorji purba hena truko ni lonko ni chuko ya dunro te endu
The dorji purpala?
dorji purba la drum
Chuku nanga lonko tang chuku.
drum
Hakos.
drum ni truko lonko de chuko ya dunro Ma yongsa te chuko ni lonko ni chuko la ma chong re ya ti to la don ro re. Te di chuko se ya te nam kha ta ba. Chuko nam kha ta ra chin zing so son tin nan do wa. Te ni lonko te tremba nan shi. Tam bo nam kha tremba. Chuko te charpa nan shi. Na to sa cha te la charpa da chuko yo ra ze khen me to tham ji. Te di chu nan tham ji ko son khran so chik le chik tin chik le chik re de yo re.
So, in terms of the three kayas, or the three enlightened bodies, then ultimately all phenomena, all reality, is the embodiment of the three kayas. It is said that all samsara and nirvana are ultimately the three kayas. And so, in the tradition of Vajrakalaya, in one of the ways that you do the dissolution of the deity in the completion stage, then the Nirmanakaya, the emanation body, dissolves back into the Sambhogakaya, the enjoyment body, which dissolves back into the Dharmakaya, the enlightened body of reality, or the truth body. And when there is the generation stage, then from the Dharmakaya appears the Sambhogakaya and then the Nirmanakaya. And so they are interrelated and contained within each other in this way. And so one analogy for the three kayas is that the Dharmakaya is like space. And then the Sambhogakaya is like the clouds that appear in space. And then the Nirmanakaya is like the soothing rainfall that rains down. And in a place like this, we can use the rain. The rain causes things to grow, plants and flowers and so forth. And there's the beneficial rain. So in this way, the three kayas are all interconnected.
Okay.
Dene Jua Chunipa the Chakja Kandres Chasong Ane Chaja Pejuche Gogirbes Druptap Yamacheki Kapla Gogirbes. So then the 12th question is, can you explain why the mudra forms were created? Is it necessary to do the mudras when indicated in the sadhana?
Naso shoka dadang man do yuwa. Dadang ma. Jikdin sungung dadang ma ko yuwa.
Dadang.
Bodhicitta prayer. Morning we pray.
Oh, dala damwadre.
Yeah. Tinana lunga yisum gewala koro lamdoa. Tereng ne zong te sani ma he parda, tereng ne zong te sang ma je ke parda. Tereng ne zong sani parda lunga yisum gewa. Lu gewala koro. Lu la gom. Saja ngatan saja tingin jins. Sanga la te go res. La gom yatan nga dayatan tingin jins te du chip teni chupa tela. Ngusun jorwa kan chupa. Yi churpa kan chupa. Hote chupa la renye. Te du ngusun jorwa ta yi churpa se teni. Taran chupa ta nga tang saja tingin jin ke te du kol tela te nupa yongo res. Sarola chupa tang chukam te me na yang so ke te mikpa se na teni saja te se na chama chang hore. Sanga romu kon chinap che lamdoa nga romo jalen ten jiktin rodang rin jiktin ye to so tong ka so mangbo go doa te te to sama chupa re chupa.
So in terms of the mudras, when we do our opening sessions, then we do what is called in Tibetan it is called the dakdangma. So literally it is when those enemies who rise up against us. But this refers to a set of prayers that is done at the beginning of our practice. And these prayers come from Jigten Sungam and the Drikung tradition. And so the second part of it's called on page 2 of the yellow book. For that purpose, until I attain Buddhahood, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue, and so forth. And so when it says I will apply my body, speech, and mind, when we are doing the deity practice, when we do the sadhanas, then we meditate on ourselves as the deity. And then when we recite the mantras and we perform the mudras and abide in the state of meditative absorption, then this is literally applying this, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue. We are applying ourselves to virtue in this way. And so this physical activity of the mudras is part of that. It is applying our bodies to virtue. And so then additionally, when we do offerings in the secret mantra tradition, there are what are known as real offerings. So these are the offerings that offering substances and so forth that we actually set on the shrine and use for our practice. And then sometimes we don't have those, or additionally, we also do mentally emanated offerings. And the mentally emanated offerings are, and also we can magnify and multiply even real offerings. So both of these are, we work with what are called mantras, mudras, and samadhi, or meditative absorption. So through mantras, mudras, and meditative absorption, we can emanate and increase the power of our offerings. And so this is a profound way. If we don't have offerings, we can still create them in this way, the power, through the tradition of secret mantra and mudras and meditative absorption. So also when we do our sadhanas and practices, we have the cymbals, we have the drums and the different musical instruments. These aren't just there to create nice music, like you would go to a concert in the ordinary world and listen to nice music. It's not for that. These are offerings to the deities to accomplish the accumulation of merit and so forth. And so through the mudras, we are able to accomplish this deeper aspect of offering.
Tata koni yena dunba lagate the jalok tuji chimbo shod chukik juini telando nimon dunga nimbola yena dun seyat the yogo mari shod chukik the juini niba dala saja seyate yanzab zokchin ka nang nan de song rang le torhin rang chu bes rang hal gom tenin chupe lamo ozer ke chelen chupe lamo tun so rang na chon chu rang le torhin rang chu be chuze yin ji gang mu gu la chuze yin ji gang go ma rang le torhin rang chon chu ben rung khang ta be zibo ten na yo chama yo ba chuji jasa dang so na dang zemo jesa chong khang yong su zo ba ten rang la gom de ozer tun chon chu ba por rang chuna yanzap tohang doa yanzap nandala rang le turhin rang chu pe chu je yin ji kang mugus te yuna ya poris mena so la te si chogres hakoso
Pagmos langa.
ah
Pagmos langa.
rang le turhin rang chu pe yanzap jokchin na yore.
So if we want to look at the
seven prayer,
the
page number
12.
11, 12. Okay, you're looking for this.
So we can look at some of the offerings and so forth for reference on page 11 and 12 later. On in the concise practice of Chenrezig, the royal tradition. And then Drupon also says that in the Yangzab teachings, the Padmasambhava's instructions revealed by Rinchen Puntsok, in these Yangzab treasures, in the Dzogchen instructions, it says, emanated from myself, I make offerings to myself. I don't need to be fulfilled through other offerings. And so when we understand that how the mind can create everything, all the offerings needed, everything is contained from within. There is no need, so if we want nice things in this way, we don't have to go out and about on the town to go find fancy food and drink and dance and music and so forth. Ultimately, all of these things we can realize from within. So right now we are probably at the end of the time. There are still some questions, but Unfortunately, we don't have time to get through all.
Cái chim bồn đồn đuôi. Đồn đi bàn đồn. Okay.
So,
patience practice.
So one quick question, and so the rilbo dutsi chumen ki rilbo, the mendrup, midi la konso samsam la konso de gupe ki rilbo tang mendrup tang ze sangak ki ze yomares. Na so injimenchi de dutsi rilbo gogrubes nga so chikbo tsamla dena deni dutsi rilbo gogrubes mena deni tapshi yomarbe.
Dengan gotsu masang chuan trabat.
Aha.
Mana ro gogre mari laure.
They drabo. They drabo.
Mana ro gona tena Rinpoche mambo tena drop yore.
Aha.
Teni rageres. Teni longchu.
Chitang sangak nyamanchena deni dutsi ki rilbo gogrube.
Jin lab si sinji lab yana yone yapores. Mina tap charma so semres. Tita rageri kawana.
So this last question is, I often get caught up by the concept that I don't have the required substances for Vajrayana practice. Do we need blessing pills for doing this practice in solitary retreat or daily practice? Pachi Chenrezig Drupchen Nyamachena, the Druptap di Chenrezig Marpo Nyamachena, the Rubu Dinangshin Gogurbe.
Tamari. Okay.
Okay.
Melare palamane yo marita so son nyumuteri.
Okay. So then, did I read that in English? So the English is, I often get caught up by the concept that I don't have the required substances for Vajrayana practice. Do we need blessing pills for doing this practice in solitary retreat or daily practice? And Drupon's answer is that right now you're with Garchen Rinpoche and he has lots of blessing pills, so I believe that you will get some if you need them for your practice. You can probably get some. And then also, if you are thinking, do you need your own set of lots of blessing pills for practice in retreat? Drupon said, Milarepa was in retreat without anything, and he seemed to get by pretty fine. So you can probably do so too.
Okay.
So this is all the time we have, and so we will stop here, and hopefully that was all clear, and if not, sorry, and especially if we didn't get to all the questions.
Thank you, your patience, diligence. Okay. Yeah.
Page 17.
Tumba ngale jumne pamba yari kanko tawa tamche yongso ishi jerang hangle zhurpa jache shen pang towa nanga riva pami re layang tani tukje chen jenjawa re gong te ta tamsek pa re la tukso she tang take she le Deva Chindam Buddha Lane Ishi Pa Chindang La Tam Reva La Tan Nasi Tam Che Yeke Demen Haja Pungwa Tsang Shikpa
I visualize myself as the great compassionate one according to the generation stage. At my heart is a moon disk with the syllable Shri at its center. It is surrounded by the 6 syllables. Light radiates from the 6 syllables and invites the wisdom beings from the pure land of Sukhavati, which merge non-dually with me. From within the state of emptiness, a syllable broom transforms into the vase, a boundless wisdom palace, completely perfected with gates, lattices, and archways. Spacious and lofty, it is the natural manifestation of primordial wisdom. The pills inside are inconceivable. Each of them is a great compassionate one, resembling myself. Light radiates from the seed syllable Shri at the heart of each Samaya being and the Shri at my own heart, inviting the wisdom beings from Sukhavati and Potala. They dissolve into each of the Samaya being pills. All appearance and existence resound with the sound of the 7-syllable mantra, humming like bees in a beehive. Shri, I invite the assembly of wisdom deities. I make outer, inner, and secret offerings. I praise your body, speech, mind, qualities, and activities. I confess all unmindfulness, transgressions, confusions, and impaired and broken vows. Please think of me with compassionate love and grant accomplishments. Page 20.
je nan je nor va ta sang go tu je la zu gong su su da ja ma re le ne de bo je kam sam khor ve ne so tin cham shen re zhong khor ve ne le tar du mi ta me yong de nyam ta den zha nyong sang gong tu je la zu gun me zhe sang de lan gong bo chi du sa jiang la ta be de do so rang ge na me dong ha ju ji na pa be tu je da la chi shi sa tang ke tu je xiao ban che la na ta da ni dun zhen ban ze do so me dong pe la ze wa chi jin de tu da ma ye tu je wang ge la le nian ta zen ko wa dong ne ja gu bu ni zhen zhen ban ze do so de dar je zo gom de so nan je da 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 la de thon ru wa gong me zan le de par ma che ma da de wa jin du zu de je wa sho je ma da de so je ra zhe ne zhe be so je yin dong se ba shu
20. 3. Like a jewel that grants all wishes, are you, compassionate projection from the unborn, unelaborated Dharma sphere, loving guardian, merciful deity, please consider this. We, great ignorant wrongdoers with ill karma, have perpetually wandered the three realms samsaric states with no chance for release from the 6 classes samsaric abodes. As we have endured exhaustion like this for a limitless time, loving guardian, will you not look on us with eyes of compassion? Extending here your benevolent hand, guardian, please guide on the path of release. Ever occupied with the miseries of our actions ripening, what use will the exalted one's compassion be to us? If indeed you have the compassionate lasso of those skilled in means, please draw us out at once. Like a longing mother who loves her child, powerful deity of compassion, do not forget your heart pledge. Having exhausted the limits of misdeeds and emptied samsara from its depth, guardian, please draw us into your very presence. Thus, through the merit of development and completions, meditation and recitation, may I and all wayfarers connected with me be miraculously born in the delightful, the moment these unclean bodies have been cast off. Traversing the 10 grounds as soon as we are born, may our emanations engage others' aims throughout the 10 directions. 24. From the life force, the whom at the heart of myself manifests as the deity, light radiates, imploring the gurus, knowledge holders, and 3 roots mind streams. When every one of them has come like gathered clouds, blessing, empowerment, and cities are bestowed, and activities are accomplished.
Drubchen Tsering Manga Tujiranza Azotan Kone Dekuso Tojesebola
Om Shri, from the very state that is completely pure and free of elaboration, appeared the principle and retinue, self-dynamism of unhalting compassion. Send down upon this place the resplendence of your body, speech, and mind, and grant the five wisdoms supreme empowerment.
Om Mane Padme Hum Shri Mahakarune Sarvadamaya.
Long life prayers in the yellow prayer book, page 20. For this realm encircled by snow-covered mountains, you are the source of all benefit and happiness without exception. Tenzin Gyatso, Lord Chenrezig, may your life remain steadfast until the end of samsara. Embodiment of the three jewels, great being who upholds and increases the teachings of the Shakya lion, you perfectly guide others with your excellent deeds. May you, the precious Guru who accomplishes everything spontaneously, live long. Holder of the teachings of Lord Drigumpa, great sovereign of the three jewels, through the power of your peerless compassion and the holy Dharma's peaceful light, you bring relief to beings. May your life be long. Known in the noble land as Ayadeva, you emanated into the Garchen of eastern Tibet as Chudingpa, the heart son of Jigten Gonpo. May the life of glorious Garchen remain steadfast for 100 eons. 26. May the teaching of the great Vikunpa Ratnashri, Master of Interdependence, Omniscient Lord of Dharma, who has seen all knowable things, be upheld through teachings and practice, through hearing, reflecting, and meditating until the end of existence. Your 1,000 arms are the 1,000 wheel-turning kings. Your 1,000 eyes are the 1,000 Buddhas of this fortunate eon. Your love is boundless like space. I supplicate the Bodhisattva Chenrezig. Thank you for joining us. Please join tomorrow as well for the last day of the Drubchen at 9 a.m. Arizona time.